Welcome back to Ration Nerd, everybody. It's good to see you here again with me on this crazy channel where I eat stuff. So this is a little bit of a vintage item. This is a food packet survival general purpose. This is from 2004. So we're looking at something that's about 20 years old. These rations were developed on request of the U.S. Air Force. They were made to pack a lot of calories in a small box and for the water requirements for consuming this food to be very small. That has to do with metabolic process in the human body of how much water it takes to process the food that you're eating. And this in particular has only 5% protein, 39% fat, and 56% carbs. And that high carbohydrate count would certainly make it less water intensive for your body to consume this food and break it down and actually use it for nutrition. This ration should have roughly a 5-year shelf life at 70 degrees. So we definitely busted that 5-year shelf life. This thing does look like it was stored pretty well. It's in great shape. Sticker's a little crooked, but you know, what are you going to do? I do not, however, know what temperature it was stored at, so we're obviously 15 years beyond the expiration date. But we're going to crack into this thing and give these items a try anyway. This is a relatively small box, so it's pretty amazing that this thing is coming in right around 1,400 calories. Just for size comparison, this is a standard MRE, so you can see this thing is definitely pretty small, and your standard MRE would contain roughly the same amount of calories. So for this thing to have as many calories as it does packed into this tiny little box is pretty amazing. I have a feeling this is going to have a lot of sugary items in it, and if that 39% of it that is fat did not spoil in its storage, we'll find that out together. But we'll crack into this guy and see what is contained in this ration, again being produced on 2004 on the 325th day. And this was actually made by the Oklahoma League for the Blind in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, which is pretty cool. So let's crack into this little vintage sucker and see what's for dinner, or what's for survival. So let's get a smell test on this since this guy is 20 years old. And that really doesn't smell like a whole lot. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. We'll find out together. So the first thing we have is a couple of packs of charms that are ever so slightly stuck together. Oh no, and these things are squishy. They should be just like hard candies. Both packs are kind of squishy. That's a real shame. We'll give one of them a try just to see what's going on. And here we have a shortbread bar. That's kind of scary. I don't know if shortbread will have survived that long, considering it probably has a good bit of fat in it. But we will try it out. It still has a great vacuum seal, however. We have an oatmeal cookie bar, again with an excellent vacuum seal. We have another oatmeal cookie bar, again with a great vacuum seal, kind of a redundant item, but oh well. And the inside of that box certainly does not look any worse for wear, so that's a good sign. We have a pack of instant sweetened lemon flavored tea, and you can see the discoloration on the top of that bag is kind of disconcerting. However, we'll certainly give it a try. Sounds pretty good in there, hasn't caked up or anything. We have some chicken flavor instant broth made by Herbox, and a very caked up pack of Domino sugar. That's a 6-gram pack. I guess you would put that inside of your tea. Not really sure what you're doing with it. Again, with the ration with no coffee in it, why? Like, if you're in a survival situation and you're gonna survive off some candy, some oatmeal bars, a shortbread bar, some tea, and some chicken bouillon, give me a pack of coffee to go with this sugar. But why? Just why? Just why? So there is everything contained in the ration. We'll get this out on a tray. So we will start by making up our chicken bouillon and our tea mix. So hopefully these items survived. I don't see why they wouldn't, although 20 years is kind of a long time. I mean, that still smells perfectly fine. You know, I will have to come out with an after action report for this, especially if it's 20 years old. It's generally, you know, 2 to 3 days or so between the time I film a video and get to edit it and get it up online. So I can certainly offer you guys an after action report. All the items in this ration only require between 14 and 16 ounces of water to reconstitute and consume. Tea mix smells like an instant Lipton tea, not surprising. And that looks just fine. It smelled just fine as well. Not going to go too heavy on the water. Again, this was only meant for 14 to 16 ounces of water for the entire ration. All right, we'll start getting into these cookie bars. That's pretty tough. Good packaging, good tri-laminate packaging. That had a nice satisfying little hiss. Yeah, and to be fair, that smells perfectly fine. And we'll sniff check this guy. Again, that smells perfectly fine. I have a feeling this ration was stored really well. And now for that shortbread cookie, which is the one item that would have the highest fat content, and I would think would have the highest chance of spoiling due to the fat content. That's smelling a little suspect, if I'm being honest. I wish you guys could smell that with me. That just looks like the fats and oils in that have risen to the surface. I'm not sure that's what that's supposed to look like. I have never seen one of these in person. We're going to give it a bite, though, because we're just silly enough to do so. So there's our shortbread cookie. We will certainly attempt to unwrap these charms. Not sure how well that's going to go. They are very soft and squishy, where these should be hard candies. No moist snap or anything in here to help clean your fingers. I'm sure there was a weight requirement on this as well, not only a calorie requirement, a water requirement, and a weight requirement. I am surprised by all emergency rations that there are no water purification tablets in here. That seems like it would be a no-brainer. You know, if you already have scarce water requirements, why not put a water purification tablet in here? They weigh almost nothing. And you can wrap them up really nice. Oh. You can wrap those water purification tablets up really nice so they don't get contaminated with any of the other food items or contaminate the food items. Oh, this is a mess right here. So these have definitely not aged well, as you can see. Looks like the one on the end was the biggest culprit, or maybe not. They're all just kind of gooey and stuck together. So we're gonna wait on that to the end so I get the gooey nasty fingers at the end of the video instead of now. All right, so let's check out this chicken bouillon. Doesn't taste strange or off-putting. This is just a decent quality chicken bouillon, to be honest. Nice and savory and salty with a good taste of chicken. Whether it's a day old or 20 years old, this is pretty good. Again, I'll let you know if there's any adverse effects from eating any of this stuff before I post the video. And let's try this tea. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that tea. It literally tastes like Lipton instant tea that already has sugar in it. And I guess because we have nothing else to do with it, we'll throw this extra pack of sugar in there, because otherwise it's just going to sit on the tray. So we'll bolster the calorie content of the ration with 6 more grams of sugar in the tea. And we'll try it again. Extra sweet. You know, that extra 6 grams of sugar cuts down on a little bit of the tartness from the lemon. It's actually really good, I must say. It's way better than the non-sugar variety, like the sugar-free variety of teas. It's pretty decent, all things considered. I would not be unhappy to have this in a survival situation. So we are definitely going to start with one of these oatmeal cookie bars. These are very dense, very compressed, feel very heavy in the hand. A little bit of a glistening surface to them where they were compressed together. We'll try a bite of this guy and see if it held up. You know, and that cookie bar held up just fine. That's actually not bad at all. I mean, I'd like to see these cookie bars in a regular MRE. This is pleasantly sweet, has a little bit of an oat and brown sugar taste to it. You know, for being 20 years old, if I didn't know that this was 20 years old, I wouldn't think it was 20 years old at all. This is pleasant, easy to eat, a little hard when you first take a bite of it, but it breaks apart pretty quickly. Has a pleasant oat and brown sugar taste, very sweet. That's actually pretty nice. As far as survival food goes, I'd definitely give that a thumbs up. That would be a welcome addition if you were actually surviving somewhere. Having this little oatmeal cookie bar would certainly be a morale boost. That's a great item. It truly is amazing that this thing has held up for 20 years. I mean, the date of production was one of the last years that these particular rations were produced. So this thing is 20 years old, and it tastes great. It really is the tri-laminate packaging that they use and the deep vacuum seal that they put these under that allows them to stay fresh and edible for so long. Anybody that's not aware of what tri-laminate packaging is, so on the exterior, there's a layer of foil. On the interior, there's another layer of foil, and sandwiched in between that is a relatively thick layer of plastic. Hopefully that will come through on the camera. Now that I've torn it open, you can kind of see the plastic has been stretched out, and you can see that interior and exterior foil and the plastic sandwiched in between. I suppose it is time to take a nibble of this possibly rancid shortbread cookie. That really doesn't look good. Again, I'm not 100% sure what they were supposed to look like when they were produced, but that doesn't look like any shortbread cookie this guy has ever seen. So, okay, I'm just gonna take a bite of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. The smell test on this thing is pretty kind of smells like opening a closet in your grandmother's house that she doesn't frequently open. So that's what that smells like. And I'm really hoping that's not what it tastes like. But we're going to get a bite of it. Because why not? I mean, that's just what we do on this channel. We eat stuff and we talk about it, and maybe every once in a while we get sick, and that's just how it goes, because that's what happens when you open up a 20-year-old cardboard box of survival food, I think. So, anyway, here goes. Alright, so that's really weird. So it kind of does taste like the inside of Grandma's closet. But if the inside of Grandma's closet was sweet, oh, God, it's just coating the inside of my mouth. That's so... Oh. Wow, so... Oh, that didn't help. I don't know what's going to help. Apparently iced tea and Grandma's closet aren't a great pair. Let's try chicken soup in Grandma's closet. That was way better. The saltiness of that chicken bouillon really helped knock Grandma's closet right out of my mouth. That's really odd. So certainly that bar did not stand the test of time. The oils in that have gone rancid. I did swallow that bite. I'm a little upset I didn't spit it out. But that certainly smells like the inside of Grandma's closet, tastes like the inside of Grandma's closet as soon as it hits the inside of your mouth. And then as you chew on it, which may not have been the wisest thing, but as you chew on it, you do start to taste the shortbread cookie in the center. So it's as if the exterior of this cookie is where the oils rose to and went slightly or very rancid. But the interior of the cookie, I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's as if the interior of the cookie is still a shortbread cookie, but the exterior has definitely seen better days. That's a shame. I have a feeling that when that was new, that would have been pretty amazing, when all the fat was still where it was supposed to be and not rancid. I think that would have been a great item if it weren't 20 years old. That's kind of a bummer. I wish that would have survived. I would have munched that down in a heartbeat. In its new form, I'm pretty sure that would be an excellent morale boost, have a really good flavor, probably where a good deal of your fat content is coming from, other than what oats are in these cookies. But that would have been a great item. Right now, circa 2024, that's Grandma's Closet cookie bar, and that's just not cool. So we will do our very best to get a look at these charms. I think this other pack, I'm going to just squish it back into a semi-square shape, and it's just going to sit here on the ration table looking kind of cool, because otherwise I don't know what else to do with them. Because I don't know what you do with these things. The red has certainly stayed red. That's kind of scary. Some of the other ones have certainly lost their color quite a bit. These things are just super sticky. Completely lost their consistency. Where's a wet nap when you need one? And these things are really in that cellophane. Wonder if we can just... Well, apparently not. Well, there's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not eating cellophane, because that's... I have standards, if you can actually believe that. I mean, I did just put Grandma's Closet in my mouth, but that's another story. These things are extremely hard to get at. Cellophane's pretty tough, I gotta give them that. How you get this candy out of it, that's a whole nother story. Probably not. Probably gonna wind up eating a piece of cellophane, that's just uncool. There we go. Alright, so that's what I could salvage out of one of the charms. That little boogery piece there. Red was probably the most cancer-causing color in there, and that's the one I just stuck in my face. You know, actually has a really good flavor. I can't tell you what flavor it is, other than it's red flavor. But it's actually pretty good. I still think this ration would have certainly benefited from a water purification tablet or two, because it would have added nothing in the sense of weight to the ration. It's the one thing that always kind of takes me back with these emergency rations, like the French pilot ration. That did not have a water purification tablet in it. Again, would have added almost no weight to the ration. So I guess we'll try a little piece of green, because that's all I'm rescuing out of that cellophane. Now, I'm no expert on charms, so someone correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I don't think green charms are supposed to taste like lemon floor cleaner. Like, have you ever smelled the way Pine Sol smells when you're mopping the floor with it? That tastes like Pine Sol smells. I don't think that was the intended flavor. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just yeah. Ugh. So unfortunately, those charms are a lost cause. I guess I could sit here for a long time and pick those all out of the wrapper and eat them. But we did try some. They're still in relatively edible condition. if you feel like sitting there and messing with them and scouring them all out of the cellophane. They would have been good if they would have not, I would assume, have been heat stressed to get into this condition, which is understandable considering this has spoiled, although after 20 years, it's kind of hard to tell whether that's spoiled because it's 20 years old or because the ration was really heat stressed. This may be a natural progression in a charm's lifespan, where after so long they just kind of start to break down and get mushy. You know, you'd figure if it was natural, they would remain like this. And if it was just due to heat stress, they would just kind of melt together under the heat and then reform into a hard candy and then be probably a little easier to get out of the wrapper. But one way or the other, I'm not a candy scientist. I just eat goofy stuff on the internet. They're still edible, but just way too time consuming. This oatmeal cookie, though, really did stand the test of time. This is a yummy little cookie bar right here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here on Ration Nerd for this food packet survival general purpose from 2004. You know, all things considered, this being 20 years old, it held up really great. This was a lot of fun just to see what these are like. These are no longer produced, at least not in this form with these contents. So, if you like what I'm doing with the channel, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join me back here when I eat something else new, old, or somewhere in between. Don't forget to talk to me in the comments. I like hearing from you guys. Until I see you on the next one, eat 'em up.